Week 2, Monday Night Football. We got 2 games on the slate, but me personally, I'll be putting my money on that Chargers versus Raiders game, but I'll give you my lean for the side and the total for that Texans-Bucks game. Now, welcome to the channel. What's up? My name is Peter Apple, and this is the home for all of my NFL picks moving forward. And the best way to support so the picks stay free, hit the like button, comment down below what you think of my plays and your favorite plays for Monday Night Football. And of course, reminder to press that big red subscribe button. Also a reminder that you can find all of my plays on BetMGM. Remember to use code JustGridiron if you're new, because if your first pick loses, you'll get it all back in bonus bets up to $1,500. Really important to use these sportsbook offers when available. You're getting some free money, especially if you lose. Reminder, it's code JustGridiron on BetMGM for a first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first wager loses. Before I give you all the analysis for my favorite pick again for Chargers versus Raiders, let's talk about Texans versus Bucks. So right now on the odds screen, I'm looking at Texans -2, 2.5, 1.5, depending on where you shop, and I'm pretty in line with market. But the total intrigues me. And really what we're looking at is an overreaction, or at least by my numbers, from week 1, right? Both the Texans and really the Bucks offense did not look good, and both stayed under the total. Week 1, the look ahead line for this game in week 2, total was 45.5. This time around, it reopened after those bad showings at 42.5. Now, I make the total closer to 43.5. So not a lot to chew on, but some value on that side. But we're also dealing with two conflicting systems. One says to play the under, right? When we get two teams of 8+ days of rest, 60% to the under. But if we're looking at these overreaction overs, it's actually a 60% system to the over. It says in week 2, take the over between two teams that both went under in their first week 1 game. So a lot to throw around. I'm not going to bet it, but again, my strongest lean from that game would be the over 42.5. But now it's time to look at Raiders versus Chargers, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. Now, the Raiders unveiled their new look offense last week in Foxborough, and the passing game wasted no time making a statement. Geno Smith at quarterback, Vegas posted the second best passing success rate and generated 9 explosive passes, the most of any team in week 1. Smith's aggressiveness carried over from his Seattle days, constantly driving the ball downfield to superstar rookie Brock Bowers, who thankfully is going to play in this game. He was questionable at the beginning, of the week, but we get Brock Bowers on the Raiders side. And emerging weapon Jacoby Myers. I'm really bullish on this passing attack, and I think the run game can get going in this specific matchup. Now, the ground game for KC didn't put up gaudy stats in week 1, but when we look under the hood, it wasn't a good performance by the Chargers. They surrendered the second worst success rate on the ground of any team in week 1, and I think the Raiders are going to be able to establish themselves, which makes the passing game even better. Now, defensively, Jesse Minter's Chargers unit is structurally sound, but the lack of star power is noticeable. Derwin James remains one of the true difference makers, but he's going to be tested, tracking Bowers all game. Still, if the Raiders can force mismatches elsewhere, right? Use play action, which I thought was really effective in week 1, despite the lack of rushing success, and working Myers and speedy Trey Tucker in his space, Smith should have ample opportunities to stress this defense vertically. Vegas is going to commit to the run against this front, not only to exploit what I think is a weakness, but also set up chunk plays downfield. If Geno maintains his week 1 rhythm and decision making, the Raiders offense should be able to sustain drives and put real pressure on this Los Angeles Chargers defense. But on the flip side, the Chargers offensive line did look really good, despite losing all-pro left tackle Rashawn Slater. But this week presents a different challenge. They got to deal with Max Crosby. Good luck. Expect Vegas to test this reshuffled unit by isolating Crosby against that right tackle Trey Pipkins, who steps in on the right side after Joe Alt slid over to left tackle. I think that matchup in particular is going to prove to be huge in this game. On the ground, Chargers struggled to generate much push, averaging just 1.6 yards before contact, with rookie running back Omarion Hampton bottled up for a lot of the night. Chargers lived in 11 personnel for most of the game, with McConkey, Johnston, and Keenan Allen on the field, and a pass-heavy game script kind of looks inevitable again here. While the Raiders' secondary looks shaky at times, they quietly limited explosives. just like I thought, allowing just a 6.5% explosive pass rate on dropbacks. That bend don't break identity is central to Patrick Graham, the DC of the Raiders scheme. Herbert and company, they're going to move the ball. But Graham's approach of forcing these offense to string together long drives raises the risk of mistakes. If Crosby and the Raiders front can create these disruptive moments on third down, Vegas has the tools to keep this game tight despite LA's passing efficiency. I think it sets up as a really difficult spot for the Chargers. You're coming off an international trip, hitting the road for a divisional game, and laying more than a field goal. Chargers boast one of the league's most efficient passing offenses, and the Raiders showed in week one that their own attack has plenty of firepower again behind Geno, Bowers, Myers, and plenty others. There's also a strong system on Vegas to cover here. From weeks 1 to 3 specifically, divisional underdogs up to 5.5 have been a cash cow, going 118, 76, and 8, a 60.8% hit rate. So my model makes this game closer to Chargers -2. So I'm seeing a 1.5 of value on the Raiders. I also like the matchup. I like the historical trends. Give me the Raiders to keep it within a field goal against the Chargers on Monday night. And hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. Again, if you're enjoying all the free picks, all I ask from you, you just hit the like button. Make sure to comment down below what you think of these plays and your favorite plays for Monday Night Football. Make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications, as we'll have videos all season long. All we got to remember is it's not gambling advice.